So back in primary school, I had these two mates, these two Greek twin boys, Alex and Con. And my personality was pretty much in the middle of both of these guys. See, they had pretty different personalities. Alex was chaotic. He was a troublemaker. His attention span would be shifted from here to there in an instant, and he was cracking jokes all the time and he was funny. Whereas Con was quiet, he was reserved, but you could tell him to do something and he would do it and obviously get in trouble for it. And he would laugh at anything and everything that you said and did. And like I said, my personality was like right in the center of them. And these guys were my best mates. I was also friends with like the German guy, the Chinese quadruplets, the American guy, the Canadian girl, the Aboriginal girl. But when it came to Alex and Con, these guys were my best mates. You might be thinking, fuck, it sounds like you went to a pretty multicultural school. No, that is the extent of the multiculturalism that was in my primary school. When it came to Alex and Con though, I felt comfortable with them. I gravitated towards them. I always gravitated towards people who were different. I might have also gravitated towards Alex and Con because we were the only WOGs in the year level. I just realized I gotta explain what a WOG is. A WOG is a person who migrated here from Greece, Italy, Cyprus, Spain, back in the 70s and 80s. And it was used as a derogatory term, but we took the term and we adopted it and we use it now as a source of pride. And so I think that's probably why, you know, I felt comfortable with them. They looked like me, they sounded like me, they acted like me, they knew my culture. These were guys who I knew I would be friends with for the rest of my life, as opposed to the other people who I knew I'd probably just be friends with at the time. So early on in primary school, Con actually stayed down a year level and Alex and I were in the same year level. And so we became even closer.
So right here we have Chris. Me.
And I thought I was gonna grow up with Alex. I thought that we would go out together when we're older, we would pick up girls together. But what happened was Alex's parents decided that they wanted to relocate to Greece, to a place called Olympia, which might sound familiar because that's the place that the Olympics first started. So we lost contact. And you know, this was like the early 2000s, right? The internet wasn't what it is today. There was no social media. There was no way to like stay in contact unless we like wrote letters and stuff to each other, but we were fucking 10 years old. We weren't gonna do that, right? So we lost contact. It wasn't until Facebook came around where I got this random ad from this account called Alex Golden Wraps. I was like, what's this bot shit? The account also messaged me and said, hey, is this Chris Sava? And I'm like, that's the name of my profile. Alex he just always used to refer to me as Chris Sava, Chris Sava. He wouldn't say just my first name. He would say my first and last name all the time. Anyway, I responded to it and I realized that it was Alex. And so we started talking and we reconnected and we were able to catch up and see what life was like after all these years. And by now it was over 20 years since I had seen him. I already had this idea that I was gonna go to Europe because there was a couple things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Italy and see the Formula One in Monza. I wanted to explore the island of Crete because everyone who I spoke to who had gone highly recommended it. I wanted to party in Croatia and do Croatia Sail. I also wanted to visit my dad's village in Cyprus and see where he grew up. And if I could, explore the UN buffer zone in Cyprus and see this untouched 50-year war zone where the public aren't allowed to go, even if I got arrested for it. But one of the other important things that I wanted to do was see Alex. And so what I did was I organized my trip, I bought my tickets, I went to Melbourne Airport.
Obligatory departure sign picture, we have.
And I flew to Athens. Okay, before that, I should actually say it wasn't that easy. See, I told Alex last year that I planned to come in the middle of 2024 to visit him. We came up with this idea to go around the country for a week. He even suggested that we rent a van and drive around the country, which sounded awesome. I could catch up with my old mate, I could explore the country of Greece, and I would have a local with me to make it 100 times easier. Like, what more could you want, right? We talked about it here and there, and I messaged him in February to confirm the dates. And so I told him that I'd be there from mid to late August. He responded and said, okay, we got to make plans. And I was like, yeah, that's what this is. So I said to him, okay, if you have any dates that works for you, tell me. Otherwise, I'll be there from the 12th to the 13th of August. And he responded, okay. It was at this point after, you know, getting to know him again that I sort of realized, like, it's not that I felt like he was reluctant to see me. I just felt like he's probably just very unorganized. just like me. So I didn't know how smooth this was gonna be. So I messaged him again in April. I said, here are the dates, I'm gonna come see you for a week. He responded, okay, cool, my man. And because I didn't know what we were gonna do, I asked him, do you wanna travel around like we originally planned, or do you just wanna stay in your area to make it easier for you? And he didn't reply. So 2 days later, I said, if you want me to, I could come in September if that's easier for you. And then he responded, he can't reply because he's too busy because they had the Olympic torch celebrations there at the time. Fair enough. But I also just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna organize everything myself. I'm gonna book everything and I'm just gonna tell him the dates that I'm gonna be there. If it works for him, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't matter at this point because it's not gonna work by me trying to organize with him. So I organized the dates and I said to him, okay, here are the dates that I'm coming. And he responded, sick. So time passes and a few days before I'm due to fly out to Athens, I go to him, okay, so how exactly do I get to Olympia? He responds, you take the bus. I respond, what bus? He responds, fuck, I don't know, man. Alex, I don't speak Greek. I can read the language, but that doesn't mean I understand what any of that means. You live in Greece, dude. Find the bus for me. At this point, you're probably thinking, fuck, he does sound unreliable. Whilst that is true, it's also my fault. You know, I could have Googled how to get to Olympia 6 months ago. I could have asked him how to get to Olympia 6 months ago. I could have asked my parents how they got to Olympia when they went 7 years ago and actually saw him. But I didn't do any of that. So as you can tell, we're both fucking morons. So he found the bus that I needed to take. And like I said, I flew to Athens. I took the bus to the bus terminal. I went for a toilet break in the bus terminal and I decided maybe I'll just try and hold on to it for the next 5 hours. And so then finally, I took the bus to my next destination. It's been 31 hours. 31 hours since I left Melbourne, and I am still not at my first destination yet. After I got to Athens, I had to take a 4.5 hour bus ride to a place called Birios, which I've just arrived to now at the bus terminal. And now I've got to wait for Alex's brother Costa to pick me up. My back and my ass are incredibly sore, just like a prostitute after a long night. But you know, that's the sacrifice of traveling. That's just something that we've got to do sometimes. We've just got to, you know, sacrifice a bit of pain to be in, you know, this beautiful place that is really fucking hot. So I'm getting picked up by Alex's brother Costa. I haven't seen him obviously since they left as well, and so that'll be good to see him. So I'm keen to get to my fucking first destination and actually just put my fucking luggage away and do something that's not involving sitting on my ass in a bus or in a plane. Then from Bydgoszcz, I was picked up by Alex's brother Con. We went to the restaurant and I finally saw Alex after 24 years. And here's the footage. I didn't film it. Okay, I didn't film it. This is my first time vlogging. I don't know what to do. I don't know what it's like. You know, you think vlogging is just like you pick up your camera and you film everything. And that's kind of what it is. But look, I just thought it might be a little bit weird. You know, I haven't seen this guy in 24 years. I don't know what he's really like in real life. I thought it might be a little bit like those, you know, those pictures people take, no offense if you do this, but if you know, people take pictures of them holding their grandparents' hand and then post it on Facebook. And I thought, well, this is gonna be kind of a little bit weird if I like make this significant event and then, you know, I'm filming it for YouTube. And then afterwards, when I didn't film it, I thought, you know what? It actually would have been really nice to have like taken that video for both of us. Yes, take a picture of you holding your grandparents' hand before they pass away. But I just think that it's kind of weird to put it on social media. And then I thought, you know, maybe it's not that weird that I put it on social media because like, I don't know. And so I didn't film the first time that we saw each other again. I'll do a recollection of what I saw him do. He was like, oh man, my man. And then he went up to me and we hugged. Now, I didn't film a lot of the stuff at the start of the trip because, like I said, I don't know these people. This is like meeting new people again for the first time. So I did get, you know, footage of him asking me, you know, what drink I wanted.
Shit, man. Yeah, I just got this one. I got this one for traveling, but yeah.
It's good, man. Are you gonna drink a beer or something?
I don't drink beer, but I drink
Cocktails?
cocktails and stuff, yeah.
What are you gonna try out?
What do you got?
But anyway, the first night I felt was like, okay, let's just meet everyone. Let's see what it's like to be in Greece. And then tomorrow I'll start filming. I still met a couple people and filmed stuff, like, you know, one of his mates showing me how to drive in Greece.
What cars have in Australia?
I've got a Tesla.
Oh,
An
no,
electric,
my
yeah.
friend, no. No, just no. This is a red flag for me, you know?
Yeah. It's fast though, it's good.
It's fast, I know,
Yeah.
but it's slow.
It's not this.
In my mind.
Yeah.
Because no noise, no, you know.
No
this-
turbo, no drifting,
Yes.
nothing, yeah.
This sound. We're gonna survive for this. Are you ready?
Yeah. Now he's slowing us down, huh?
No problem.
Very Greek of you.
Yes, no speed limit for us, no problem.
Nah, the Greeks are crazy, man.
The roads are busy. Here are the best spot for burnout.
Ah, beautiful.
You see, this is all mine.
Yeah, so.
Victor. It's good, yeah?
Yeah.
And then after I had my driving lesson, I went to sleep and I woke up and had my first full day in Olympia. So after 32 hours of travel, I finally arrived in Olympia. I saw Alex, saw his family again, his brother Costa. I've met a couple people, met maybe like half the town now, said hello. Alex knows everyone here. He said it's a town of about 500 and, you know, everyone knows everyone. But anyway, whilst he's working, I'm going to the museums. There are a couple here. There's one at the top of the hill here, which is meant to have a couple different relics, different marble pieces. And then the other one that I'm going to go to is the archaeological ruins, where they actually held the games around 2,000 years ago. The views are stunning, and really, this can't even really capture it that well. You have to actually see it with your own eyes, but like I said, very mountainous, just surrounding the whole area. You know, you've got to do a little bit of climbing to get anywhere here. And going up to this beautiful building up here in the first museum. But I thought I'd go here first because it's currently 35. It's 8 UV. And whilst the sun is very nice, as opposed to how we feel in Melbourne with, you know, getting burnt after 5 minutes, still got a slip-slop-slap, which is very important. The only thing that I'm missing at the moment is a bottle of water. But, you know, I mean, even just walking up here, fuck, you can just see everything. This is the top of the mountain in the center. Here, all the nature. Sometimes you see a little cat. I walked around here the night prior and I saw a bunch of different little cats, little kittens playing around. Oh, shit. Wow. It's just amazing how much land there is and how much of it is just untouched. And it's just all stunning. It's amazing. It's unfortunate that there are wildfires happening in Athens at the moment. People purposely setting off fires, and, you know, that happens back home as well. But there's just so much nature around here. And, you know, you would hope that people would leave it untouched, but they don't. Anyway, let's head back into the museum here and see what it's like. Okay, I just finished at the first museum, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of different relics in there, a lot of pottery, a lot of bronze, a lot of marble. You know, when I was walking through it, I was thinking, fuck, I feel like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour when he's like,
Man, this is some nice shit. That Buddha go good in my bathroom.
So a lot of the pots are remade. So what they would do is when they found pieces of the pot, they would put it all together. And of course, some of it would be missing. And so they would recreate the rest of the pot, either by just putting a bit more clay around it or more of the detail of what they thought would have been there, or maybe what they have found to be there but has been stolen over time. But the pots that I liked the most were the ones where you could only see the parts that were found. So there was one in particular which was sort of splayed out with only the pieces that had been found, and it didn't have any recreated sections to it. The picture was a little bit strange. It had the athlete and his helper little boy, which looked like they were flirting, which is pretty disturbing. I also found a pot of Marco, which I really liked. What was probably the most surprising part of it all was that a lot of the marble was exposed. Like, you could literally go up to it and touch it if you wanted, which I feel is a little bit concerning because, you know, knowing people and their curiosity, they want to touch it, right? It's a little bit weird to have it all exposed that people could put their hands on it. Even some of the bronze was exposed. For the most part, it's actually a pretty small exhibition. There was a digital section that was closed off, and I'm not really sure why that would be, considering, you know, the Olympics are on at the moment. And I would think that there would be enough tourists to warrant having that open, but they didn't have that open, and, you know, that's okay. Maybe they just don't have the funding for it. The other thing that was pretty surprising and actually pretty cool to see was that there was a Nike exhibition. And of course, Nike and the Olympics, you know, go hand in hand, athletes and athletic wear, but there wasn't really many clothes. It was more just statues and stuff like that. So that was a little bit confusing. There was even a part of the exhibition where there was tiling that was exposed as well. And I'm just so sure that someone would have picked off some of those pieces and taken it home and say that they own, you know, a piece of history, owning a piece of this tile that is 2,500 years old. So that's a little bit weird as well. But they did have a part where you would walk over a couple different tiles, and it felt really cool to see that. There's so much detail in it, and I was thinking, fuck, I would love to try and make something like this. It would probably take years to make. So subscribe if you want to see me try and make that over time. Do I want to do that? For subs, yeah, sure. Let's be okay with that. Subscribe to see me do that. I was happy to find, you know, a marble recreation of me, which was pretty cool. But they apparently lost the, you know, the bottom half, and I guess that was probably just too big to carry around. So it's still somewhere around here. It was interesting to see that even the young boys who would help out these athletes were being commemorated and made figurines of and painted and put onto pottery and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, they were important to this whole thing as well. And so what would happen is an athlete would have a young boy who would help them train and, you know, massage them and all that sort of weird shit. And then what would happen was those boys would most likely turn into athletes themselves. One of the scary pieces, which could probably be in a horror movie, was this young boy who his face was made into a bronze statue, and, you know, some of the pieces were missing and all that. But then they recreated it next to it, and the eyes feel like they're gonna, I don't know. So Alex called me at that point, and he had a little bit of time before he had to go back to work. So we finally got to spend at least a little bit of time outside of the cafe together.
You can see, yeah, see like that. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. So you can film everything around here. So Chris, first time road driving in Europe.
Yeah.
On your right hand side.
It's fucking weird. When your brother picked me up, I was putting the stuff in the back on this door, and he's sort of just like staring at me, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is where you get in.
Are you getting used to it? Is it like hard for you?
Oh, a little bit. When I went to go put my seatbelt on, oh, you got seatbelt, yeah. Your brother's like, what, you putting your seatbelt on? I'm like, yeah.
So you have to be careful on this turn. Yeah, because it's kind of curvy in Greece now. Everything's like a big curves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard curves.
But when I was putting on my seatbelt, I went to I turned this way to go put it on.
And you're like, fuck, man,
Yeah, it's not
something's
there.
wrong. Something's wrong.
And then when I'm driving, I keep going on to the left by itself. Yeah, so it's still a little bit to get used to, but this is like the second time I've driven in Europe.
In Europe.
So far, so.
Come on, man, it's easy. You got this. So we're going to Katakolo.
So straight, yeah?
Yeah, you just keep going straight and shit. Fuck, man, this is massive, man. So how was your trip like from Australia to Greece? Was it good?
I fucking hated it. So the first flight, my ass was just fucking fell asleep. I had to keep adjusting. I had extra leg room as well, which was good, but
Okay.
like, I don't know, being stuck in a plane for that long, it's hard.
It's hard. It is. My dad was afraid when he was coming to Greece, like when we left from Australia, came to Greece.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not getting again on that airplane.
Yeah, it's hard, man. You hate it.
Aren't you afraid of the airplanes and shit like that?
No.
You used to it?
Yeah, I used to fly to Sydney every week, and it was just like, you get used to it.
So what do you find different in Greece? Like, what's the thing that impresses you and at the same time disgusts you? Like feel kind of weird.
The work culture is weird here. So like,
Okay.
I think I can appreciate it, but I also dislike it at the same time. People don't tend to work very hard. It looks like you do. Obviously, you're fucking sweating all day and shit. You know, you work 7 days a week, but it looks like a lot of other people tend to just be a little bit lazy. There's like a very like laid back culture,
Like a lazy culture shit.
yeah, but like laid back, and laid back is good sometimes when the time is appropriate. You know what I mean? But it feels like sometimes that seeps into when things should be serious.
Yeah.
Am I going somewhere?
Yeah, you're gonna turn on your right hand side. You see that car where it's turning on your right, on the right? You're gonna turn there. So you have to be really careful here because it's very curvy stuff.
All right.
This is Ayadrea. I'll show you around now.
It's nice around here, man.
Yeah, it is. Like you see the beach side,
houses
and
and the hills
yeah,
and
the
stuff.
houses and the hills and shit. Like in between the mountains and beach side at the same time.
The weird thing is like the restaurants, like the waiters and stuff. They obviously work hard where we are as well, but they're not running around. They're slow. They're walking around. They're looking out for stuff, but they're not moving fast, which I think is probably better because they're not exhausted, and they also don't work 16 hours like you're working and shit.
You have to turn on your left.
Turn.
Yeah, on your left. Aristada.
Aristera. Oh, whoop. Turn Aristera. All right,
Yeah, you
but
have
I've
the
gotta
stop sign.
here.
Yeah. So you have to slow down here. And let me see where you have to turn. Yeah, I think it's the parking lot right here. You have to stop here, go down here. This is Bevois. I'm gonna find a parking lot somewhere there. We'll go and put it over there. Okay? Right over there, next to the BMW.
Okay. But yeah, it's nice to have a bit of a laid back.
Yeah.
Maybe part of it might be that when you guys lost the drachma and then
Yeah, it was fucked up.
shit
Yeah.
went downhill.
Euros
It's
are
like,
downhill and everything.
it probably made people upset and angry, and
is
like they don't
true.
want to like try as hard because
Everything was much more simple, The drachma was much more fun, You could make money, you could make profit, you could make a lifestyle, you could like buy a house and live a life
yeah.
properly. Like you'll be outside having fun and all that, working at the same time. But after the Euro came, everything went downhill, Shops, work, everything was closing down. Then, the economic crisis came and everything fucked up.
Do you remember what year the euro changed?
We had 2001, 2002, a bit of drachma. Then the Euro came after a year or so. And then, we won everything. We won
The
gold-
Euro.
Yeah, we won
yeah,
everything.
Athens.
Yeah, and everything fell downwards. 2007, everything went downhill.
So did you see a big change in like the landscape and the culture from then?
Yeah, it was.
What was like the biggest change or the biggest changes that you noticed?
A lot of Greeks used to work, come out, used to have drink coffees, a lot of food. They were used to live that lifestyle, food, coffees. They used to shout. They used to spend a lot of money and leave a lot of tips, man. When the Euro came to us, we didn't have we didn't understand how the Euro was sitting on us. If you had 50 drachmi, that would be 20 cents. Oh, so that's jack shit now. That's nothing. You could buy a bread, half a kilo of bread in Greece. With 300 drachmi, which is not even €1, I think. Not even it would be a €1, 80 cents. I can't remember. You could drink a coffee. Now it's €3.50.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people stopped going out, stopped eating, and it was hard for us who had restaurants, cafes, clubbing, and then everything went downhill. Like I said, a lot of rules came out after. Rules. There was no smoking, no this, no that. In Greece, you would sit inside a restaurant and smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Australia, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But in Greece, if you was go inside a tavern or a taverna, which we say taverna, you would see a lot of people smoking.
Yeah.
And you couldn't say any shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the lifestyle in Greece,
Yeah.
You would smoke, drink ouzo, get fucked up, and eat a lot, drink a lot, have fun, party. That was the lifestyle from Monday to Sunday, and work at the same time. And then that changed fully. A lot of people stopped going out. Not a lot of clubbings anymore. All of that has to do with with economic crisis, and now we're going through another economic crisis because of the taxes. Now they're giving us more taxes, and people can't pay off anything.
Yeah, you're saying that the restaurants have to pay 20,000 euro regardless of how
Regardless
much
of how much they make, or even if it's less. Like if you make 100,000 euros, let's say 100,000 euros, they'll say like, you know what, 20,000. That's the start. If you make more, you pay more. If you make less, you're gonna pay 20,000.
Oh,
and then you got like 23% on food, on drinks, small bottle of waters, whatever's like 24%, 13 on food, and then you got like after taxes on that.
To have like arbitrary number like 23% on drinks it's weird.
It's
like,
weird, yeah.
How do you even like?
Here we work cheap, you know. Like you pay for a drink over here, like you pay for at a club, you pay like 6 euros for a drink.
Yeah.
Max 6 euros.
Yeah, that's not expensive.
If you want to go out and eat really good and like cheap, you go for like a pita gyro, like everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Pita gyro, which we say. You pay like 3 euros and 80 cents, and you can like pay like 7 euros for two, and you're done.
Yeah.
You don't need
fills
anything.
You up.
Yeah, it fills you up. Yeah.
Speaking of, let's go eat.
Yeah, let's go eat. Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday I was meant to go to the ruins, but Alex called me whilst I had just finished up at the museum, and he said that he wanted to go to get some lunch at this place called Beauvoir, which is like a little bit of like a beach club of sorts. The food was amazing. We had a couple different dishes. My favorite dish was this one. It was like a beetroot salad with anchovies, but not like the anchovies that you get, you know, in the jar. It was like fresh anchovies, cooked. I don't know, that was like some sort of magic. It was insane, it was so good. Today, I want to go to the beach. There's a lot of tourists here today. A couple different buses came in. So a lot of tourists walking around, and I think that it would probably be maybe a bit packed in the ruins. So what I'm gonna do, I reckon I'll do that tomorrow. And what I'll do today is go to the beach. I think I'm a bit traumatized from, you know, traveling for long periods. So I think I want to go to something a bit close by, just get in the water, cool down a little bit whilst it's 33 degrees today. So it's not too hot, but it feels a little bit hotter than the other days actually. So I'm gonna go drive down to the beach. And what I'm gonna use is Alex's car, which I think maybe one of his mates has put the windscreen wipers up. Even the back one's done. Put that down. Look at this beauty. Fiat Ibiza. It's fun to drive another small car again. One thing that I've realized in Greece is that every car here is manual. They don't really have automatic cars. When I was looking for cars in Crete to hire, the other thing that I keep doing is I keep going this way to put the seatbelt on and going to that door, but I actually didn't do it this time. Anyway, I was looking for automatic cars in Crete, and there's not a lot, but you pay a premium for them. So I got a manual car there. And so this is good to drive a manual car again and get used to it before I go to Crete. The other thing is driving around in Greece is a little scary. I would say that I'm far more anxious about driving in Greece than I am in Bali, driving around on a little scooter. It's like mixed road rules. And then the other thing is sometimes you might get to a red light, you know, you stop at the line, but you can't see the light because they don't have a second set of lights in front. So you gotta not stop at the line. You gotta stop like before the line so you can still see the lights. Tomorrow's also my last day here. So I think what I'll do, instead of going to Athens at the end of my trip, I think I might come back here. I think I'm gonna do that because Athens doesn't really interest me apart from the Parthenon. It's far nicer around here. Like, it's beautiful to look around. And I just think that I'd have a better time here than I would in Athens. And Athens feels like, I don't know, it's just Athens, you know? How often do people come to a place like Olympia and see what it's like and have a local to like take you around? It's not common, right? So I think I'll do that. I think I'm gonna change my plans, extend my trip. Instead of going to Athens, I think I'll come here instead and spend a bit more time. The mistake that I've made is actually coming at literally the busiest time of the year, the busiest week of the year. I came and visited Alex, who works in hospitality and has this restaurant, so he actually can't really do much. I think I'll come back at the end of September, which would be easier for him and his brother and his friends, so we can all go out and so I can actually see what it's like. Because for now, I'm just traveling solo. So I made my way to a place called Gayafa Beach, which was this absolutely beautiful drive. When I got there, I was distracted by the lake on the opposite side of the beach. And so I went and explored there as best as I could. Let's have a look at these signs, see if I can find out what the fuck's going on here. Oh, good, it's all in Greek. Oh, there's Braille. Maybe I should just use Braille. I Limni Gayafa, oh, that's where we are. Galipti, Epifania, 1500 Strematon. All right, I don't know what any of that says. I finally found my way past the stream and I went to what I thought could be someone's house, but it luckily ended up being a hotel. It had this amazing view of the lake, which I was sort of distracted from sometimes by the arguing Greek couple in the back. Oh yeah, so the old people arguing. But I kept walking around where I could, and then I eventually got to a spot where I couldn't walk around any further. Now, although I don't speak Greek or read it, I'm pretty sure that means I can't go through. So I made my way back towards the beach again, and I got distracted by the train line, which I was thinking would have been absolutely perfect to have to get to Olympia if it were functioning. And so after 2.5 hours of getting distracted, hey, come here. I finally make my way to Gayafa Beach, and it was amazing. What can I say? It's a beach in Europe. They're all very good. Now, after getting back from the beach, I went to the cafe and I was having a really good night with everyone.
Hey!
This is Chris.
Happy birthday, Australians! The cake, birthday cake. We write up, happy birthday, kangaroo.
I even had my first bit of euro in Greece, also known as a gyro. It was good. I mean, look, the second biggest population of Greeks outside of Athens is Melbourne. We know how to make a pretty good fucking gyro down under, don't you worry, mate. But that night I decided on two things. I was gonna extend the end of my trip and come back to Olympia, like I said earlier in the video. And I also wanted to change my flight to Paris, which was in 2 days, because I didn't actually factor in that there would be a 5-hour bus ride to the airport. So I wanted to take a later flight because I didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to take a bus to get to the airport. It's my holidays. I wasn't gonna fucking do that. With a little bit of help, I contact Ancient Airways and they tell me that I have to contact booking.com because that's who I originally booked with. I contact their live chat. I get through them after a little bit of time and they say, yeah, you can change your flight, it's $21. I'm like, great. So they send me the link after the chat ended. I paid the $21 and I went back to sleep. I woke up a little while later and I checked my inbox and I didn't have a confirmation email and I thought, that's a little bit weird, but surely they changed the flight. I already paid for it. I was gonna leave it, but I thought, no, I should just double check instead. So I contact them again and I wait 5 minutes. Oh, we're gonna get to you in less than 5 minutes. Don't you worry. So 5 minutes goes by and I get that message again. 5 minutes goes by and I get that message again. 18 minutes later, a human actually finally responds and they say, yes, I can see that you paid $21. You have to pay $180 now to get the flight changed. And I go, no, I paid the fee to change the flight already. Why are you telling me to pay $180? They're like, you got to pay $180. So I get out of that chat. I open up another chat. We'll get to you in less than 5 minutes. Don't you worry. 5 minutes passes. We'll get to you in less than 5 minutes. Don't you worry. 5 minutes passes. 28 fucking minutes later, a human responds again. Hey, I paid earlier for my flight change. It was $21. I just need the confirmation to know that my flight's changed. And they respond by saying, okay, I can see you paid $21, but you actually have to pay $56 to get the flight change. And I go, no? Oh, what a beautiful dog. Hey. What if I went to the airport and I went to take this 6:50 flight and then they say to me, you don't have a ticket for this flight. Your plane was a couple hours ago. What are you gonna do then? After I had already paid it because I assumed that the flight had changed when I paid for it to change. They go, oh, your previous support person actually made a mistake and they didn't change the flight. So now you have to pay $56 to change the flight. And I go, no. You have to pay $56 to change the flight. If you made a mistake, why am I paying for your mistake? You told me to pay the $21. I paid the $21. I did my end of the bargain. So you do your end of the bargain and change the fucking flight. They go, oh, sorry for that. Sorry that we made a mistake, but you got to pay $56 to change the flight. Okay, no, you don't understand. I paid to change the flight already. I already did that. If you made a mistake, just take accountability and change it for me. I don't actually care that it's $56 and that I would have had to pay $80 altogether. Even if it was $200, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to pay for the convenience of changing my flight. The problem I have is the principle that I paid for something and you didn't do it. Now, I understand that flight costs change throughout the day, which is why I can understand why if this person didn't change the flight, that the cost is different. The problem is I paid for a service and you didn't provide it. And so we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And eventually I go, you know what? I'll pay for it. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay on this chat till I pay for it, and you're gonna send me the confirmation, and I'm gonna tell you when I get the confirmation, and only until then are we gonna end this chat. So I pay it, they send me the confirmation, and they change the flight. And I finally felt like I had finished everything that I needed to do with Booking.com. How I was very wrong. It got so much worse, and I'll show you the rest of what happened in my part 2 of my first Olympia visit, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to watch that. In that video, oh my God, shut the fuck up. This is what I get for filming in a fucking park. Also in that video, I go and visit the archaeological site where the Olympic Games first started, where I was severely dehydrated. Man, I'm delirious. I'm fucking so dehydrated at the moment. I spend time with Alex and Con for their birthday, and I get into another situation where I pay an excessive amount of money to get to my next destination. And no, it's not with Booking.com. It's someone else's fault. So you'll have to wait for that one to see that, as well as the rest of my EuroVlog videos that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And while you're waiting, why don't you check out some of my other videos? I got videos on the lady who thinks that her work was stolen and made into the Matrix and Terminator franchises. I've got how to get more likes on Tinder. I've even got some flat earth videos from a couple years back. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.